Hey, beautiful. Welcome to Dr. Sarah's Café. This is your weekly refill. All right, folks. So I am really excited about this week because we have another new moon. Yay! This time the new moon is in Cancer. Our last new moon was in Gemini. Gemini. And so the flavor of the week this time around is tending the soul slash soil. Tending the soil, tending the soil of the soul. You get where I'm coming from? So let's go ahead and look at what the astro ingredients are for this. And we're going to start off with Neptune retrograde. I know many people focus on Mercury retrograde. It's the one that happens the most often. And because it's one of the personal planets and really close to the earth, we tend to feel it. But Neptune retrograde, the outer planets move really, really slow already, right? And so when they are going retrograde, they are very similar in theme in terms of it's time to reassess, regroup, realign, all the words that begin with the prefix re. With Neptune, though, because it rules Pisces and it's currently in Pisces, which is significant, it's also at the 29th degree, which is considered an anaretic degree, considered to be a critical degree, right? Because it encompasses all of the lessons and insights from that entire sign, degrees 1 through 0 through 29. And because Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac, it's also the last degree, not just of Pisces, but it's the last degree of the entire 12 zodiac, right? And so you can imagine all of the lessons we've been integrating over Neptune's hundreds of years transit, right? All the way back to this spot. And so Neptune, as well as the sign of Pisces, they rule things like dreams and fantasies. And Neptune, people say it dissolves things and it casts like this fog, like smoke and mirrors, sort of illusions and imaginations and fantasies. And so when it's going retrograde, this can sort of be a sobering of that energy, right? So it's like sobering up. Especially with Saturn also being in Pisces, it's already helping to make that part of our life more sober-minded, more practical, a little bit more grounded. But now that Neptune is going retrograde, I also see this as an opportunity to observe rather than being immersed in, right? And so it's like we're able to sort of step back or float above the dream or the fantasy or the illusion and sort of be observers of it and have access to more analysis and observations, right? And so being deeply reflective, being able to not just be in the fantasy, but to also maybe wake up and realize, oh, we're living in a fantasy. What is this trying to tell me? What is this about? What's going on here, right? It's almost like lucid dreaming. This is coming through right now as well. Like when you're dreaming regularly, you're just in the dream and it just feels real. But when you can lucid dream, you realize, hey, this is a dream and I control every single thing in this dream. So then you can start to take action and shape the dream, right? So it's just a different level of awareness in relation to that dream space. And then another significant thing we have going on is Mercury going into the sign of Leo. So Mercury is not retrograde yet, but it is changing signs, specifically going into the sign of Leo, which, if you know anything about Leo energy, it is the lion of the zodiac, right? It is the performer, the energy that likes to take center stage. And so you can imagine in Mercury, a planet of communication, being in the sign of taking center stage, being the star of the show. It's showtime, baby. It's showtime, okay? So communication could be a little bit more dramatic. Yes, we might have a little bit more flair to our communication, to our conversations, to our expression. But also, it's about what I would say hitting the stage, but speaking from the heart. And so this is what people don't always recognize about Leo energy, is that it is very heart-centered. It's ruled by both the sun and the strength card in the tarot deck. But that sun, that solar, it's all about like heart, love. And I know we might not associate that with a fire sign or with a sign like Leo, again, who can be very flashy and dramatic, but Leo energy is very, very heart-centered. And so we can be communicating and speaking from the heart. So yes, we're taking center stage. Yes, we're standing on that soapbox. Yes, we're turning the camera on us. We're taking the microphone, but we're speaking from the heart, okay? And speaking up from the heart and that strength card could also mean having courageous conversations. So again, Leo sort of being not the cowardly lion, but the brave lion, and saying, I want to speak from the heart. There's a conversation or a message that needs to be said, needs to be heard. And now that Mercury is in, that's the sign of that courage, that wholehearted expression and living. We might want to reflect on, for us, is there a message? Is there some type of communication that we really need to share at this time to take advantage of or leverage this really heart-centered communication energy, our flow, right? Okay, so let's get to that full moon and our new moon energy rather. So the new moon is in Cancer. We are in Cancer season. So whatever season we're in, we have a new moon related to that season. So we're in Cancer season. We have a new moon in Cancer. And this energy, as always, as I mentioned on all the previous new moons, setting intentions, planting those seeds, okay? But this new moon is also going to be conjunct the sign of Venus, and it's happening on July 5th. And so with that Venus influence of this new moon, we might be beautifying some area of life, or we can take this as a chance to beautify some area of our life. So if Cancer new moon is happening in your first house, you might be beautifying yourself with this Venus energy. If it's happening in your fourth house, if the moon in Cancer isn't falling into your fourth house, you might be beautifying your actual house, your home environment, right? And so just if you, again, are familiar with how to look up birth charts, if not, let me know in the comments and I can let you know, make some video content about it or try to explain it, or you can email me. But Venus beautifying, but also bringing more pleasure. So you can think about a sense of luxury or sweetness, right? Good smelling flowers, soft fabrics, time in the day to go for a walk and enjoy the trees and the birds, and abundance, right? And so thinking about what is it in my life I want to grow and nurture, and what do I want a lot more of? And I pulled an extra tarot card for this new moon energy. And based on that, it might start with a heartfelt conversation. So I think it's really interesting that this new moon is coming with conjunct Venus. And it's going to be right next to, or happening soon after, the Mercury moves into Leo, which is helping us and aiding us in having these heartfelt conversations. So there might be a heartfelt conversation that speaks to the new intention or the new seed that we're planting for this Cancer new moon, okay? All right, tarot ingredients. So the tarot ingredients, 4 of Cups. I had tarot cards that I pulled way, way back, and I wanted a fresher take on it, so I pulled a new card, and we got the 4 of Cups. Now the magic here, one of the magical things here, is that the 4 of Cups is actually the card that represents the moon in the sign of Cancer. You can't make this stuff up, folks. You just can't. Okay. So we're talking about the Cancer new moon, the moon in the sign of Cancer, and we get the card, the tarot card that represents the moon in Cancer. I'm just shuffling the deck and that's the card that falls out, right? So yes, it represents the moon in Cancer. Cancer, the sign of Cancer, is ruled by the moon as well. So moons in Cancer are particularly potent because they're at home in the sign of Cancer. And so the 4 of Cups, generally speaking, could represent a few different things. One of those things is that it could mean moodiness or feeling generally uninspired, apathetic, being in an emotional rut or an emotional funk, right? Like looking around your life and not really being satisfied or happy or content. It can also represent emotional distance, so being sort of emotionally detached, not really being reactive or responsive emotionally. And on a more constructive side of this energy, it could mean contemplation, reflection, or meditation, right? And so quieting the mind, not having these roiling, reactive emotions, but being able to get still so that you can reflect and meditate. And the 4 of Cups can also represent an opportunity that is right under your nose, or an answer, or a key that is right under your nose, but because you're in the fog or the haze of this emotional rut, this emotional funk, you're not seeing clearly. And so these opportunities are like just outside of your awareness, just outside of your consciousness, right? And it requires a little emotional defibrillation to maybe see them or have them come all the way into your awareness and your consciousness. The depiction that I have here is not the tarot depiction. I was searching for the Four of Cups, but these Café cups came up instead. So I was like, oh, I'll use that because it's for coffee cups. And then I had the idea, maybe I should design a tarot deck that is the Café Tarot deck. I should keep that to myself. I shouldn't say that publicly on the internet or someone might steal the idea. I have to see if it already exists out there. But a tarot deck inspired by cafe culture or inspired by a coffee shop. And even if there is one out there, you can always have two. All right, let's look at our Divinity Leaves message. I'm using one of my new Oracle decks, the Oracle of the Seven Energies. And the card that we got is the first card, Earth Magic. This is what it looks like. And it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect for the new moon. Even though Cancer is water energy. This is the card. So that right there is the Earth Magic. And the reason why this is perfect, even though earth energy is actually very complementary to water energy, in order for seeds to grow, they need water. So that's appropriate, right? When we're thinking about planting our seeds for the Cancer new moon, they are going to be planted in earth and they're going to need water to grow. So water energy coming from Cancer. We have the earth magic energy represented here. And so here's what that means. Earth magic is the quiet, dark place where all things begin, where essence is first ignited before manifestation. Now, this harkens back to so many things I've been saying on this channel with regard to planting new seeds of intention on the new moon and how we put these seeds in the dark underneath the soil. They gestate. They're outside of our conscious awareness, but they're growing, they're changing, they're transforming. They feel a little resistance as they start to crack through the earth, and then they bloom and blossom, right? And so in order to have healthy manifestations when we plant these new intentions, we have to tend the soil. So if we have any gardeners watching, you know that healthy soil leads to healthy, beautiful, thriving plant life, right? That the health of your garden starts with the health of your soil. And when we think about our spiritual soil, our emotional soil, our bodies as soil, our spirits, our souls, our minds, our hearts as a type of soil, where if we plant a seed of affirmation, is the soil ready to receive that seed and nurture it so that it can grow and prosper? Or is the soil so conditioned to negativity that it rejects positive seeds of intention and affirmation, right? And so what is the quality of our soil? What is the quality of our spirit, mind, heart that is the space where these new seeds can grow and thrive? And not just us personally, but tending to the soil in terms of our life. The landscape of our life also being a kind of soil. And is that soil ready for the kinds of seeds you're trying to plant in it, right? So if you say you want to plant the seed of intention to improve your health, is the landscape of your life appropriate and ready to nurture that seed and to be an environment where that seed of intention can grow? If we are planting the seed of intention to improve our romantic connections and find the great love of our life, is our heart and mind and soul and spirit in a place to nurture the seed of that intention? Is the landscape of our life a good environment where that intention and that seed can take root and really grow and thrive? If it's an intention for financial abundance and prosperity, again, same questions apply. Have we taken care of the soil, aka the environment, the context, the container that we're trying to put that seed and intention into, right? So that's why the theme for this week is tending to the soil. Because yes, new moons are about planting those intentions, planting those new seeds of some project or some path in life or some thing we want to manifest. But we can't just be planting seeds all willy-nilly in random soil, not tilling the soil, not breaking the ground, not making sure the soil has the right nutrients in it, all those things. And so we want to create environments and tend to those environments so that they are very, very supportive of the seeds and the manifestations that we want. Okay. Now I want to read a little bit of this divinity leaf message, Earth Magic, and I'm going to pull up the text. So Earth Magic speaks to the intrinsic relationship that you and all living things have with the consciousness of the earth, also known as Gaia. Shout out to Captain Planet fans. Imagine the oak tree that begins its journey as an acorn, gathering the life force energy it needs from the earth so it can sprout up from the ground. And what's so interesting to me is when I was living in Illinois, there were acorns all over the ground. I remember picking up an acorn and holding it in my hand and taking a picture of it and posting the picture with the caption, "I am so powerful, I can hold an entire oak tree in the palm of my hand," right? And so what's beginning in our life now might seem so small, so insignificant, but that small little thing can grow to be the big, powerful, beautiful oak tree that we imagine, right? Because you are part of nature, you follow the same cycle of manifestation. Let's go to the next page. And then it says, the message now is to trust that the seeds you've planted in your field of dreams are in good hands. The earth is a conscious, divine source of love that is doing its part on your behalf. Slow down, take in the beauty of your life now, and trust that what you are intending is being nourished and is growing. There will be plenty of time later to tend to your garden, to water it and weed it. Great magic is germinating underground, working its way to the surface to deliver more blessings than you could imagine. Let it. And I love this. This card came out while shuffling. And when you think about the theme of a new moon and planting seeds of intention, what more perfect card could we have gotten for that? All right. The bulletin board for today is the co-working space. And this came to mind because I'm recording this during the co-working time. So I logged into the space around 10 and then logged out around noon so that I can record this video. I don't want to record the video while I'm also live in the cafe. But if you are interested in the membership, the weekly co-working, as well as any impromptu co-working, because the live space is open, anyone can hop on it and have a coffee date or meet up with folks to do a co-working session at your own time. But we have a standing co-working session on Wednesdays from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Central Time. And so we're still in beta testing mode, but if you're interested in being a beta tester, you can leave a comment or email me at drsarah.lweb@gmail.com. Okay. All right. And speaking of the membership, our next event is coming up in July, and it will be the summer book club meeting. So we're meeting to discuss our summer book club pick, which is a love song for Ricky Wilde. And yes, as the membership grows, the members will have a significant say in what the book club pick is. But at the time that I chose this, there were no members. So I chose it based on what I was really interested in reading. So that will be on Tuesday, July 23rd at 7 p.m. Central Time. So if you have time to read the book, you can order a copy from drsarahscafe.com just so that I could get a percentage of the sale there. But also, if you don't read it, you're still happy to join. You're still invited to join the conversation if you don't mind spoilers, or maybe it's a book that you probably won't ever read, but you want to engage and interact. It's a love story featuring couple of folks living in Harlem, and it's what I sense from it is that it speaks to the non-linearity of time. Going back to maybe potentially past lives during the Harlem Renaissance, yes, and all that stuff. So I'm not going to read for today's pastry and poetry, but I did want to mention the summer book club pick. And I also want to feature these delicious brownies. Not brownies, muffins, chocolate muffins. Ooh, I used to, Highland Coffees in Baton Rouge used to have the best chocolate muffins. So there's that. Now, we have one last thing, folks, before I let you go, which is your to-go plate, your to-go bag, your to-go cup to take away. And it's always an affirmation based on the theme, the flavor of the week. And so this week we have, I take good care of my soil so my seeds can grow and thrive. I take good care of my soil so my seeds can grow and thrive. So think about for you, what soil, what is the condition of it? Whether it's, again, just your own mentality. Do you have an open mind, for example, so that new seeds can take root? And, do you have an open heart? Have you set up your home in a way that is welcoming and inviting to a new family member? So many ways that this can manifest for you. You'll be able to reflect on that. Again, if you are able to look at where the new moon is happening in your birth chart, that could give you some guidance or narrow down where to look in your life. But also you just might have a hunch at what is resonating when you hear me talk about tending to the soil so that the new seeds of intention have a great environment to thrive and to really grow and prosper. All right. And with that, I do hope to see you in the next video. Take care.